What if I told you that some of the most powerful foods for your heart aren't expensive supplements? They're not hidden in a secret laboratory. They're not reserved for elite athletes. And they're probably available at your local grocery store right now. Every second of every day, blood is traveling through an incredible network of vessels inside your body, more than 60,000 miles of arteries, veins, and capillaries. Together, they form the highway system that keeps you alive, delivering oxygen, transporting nutrients, supporting every organ, fueling every cell. But over time, those highways can become damaged, narrowed, inflamed, and clogged. This process doesn't happen overnight. It develops slowly, quietly, often without symptoms, until one day, the consequences become impossible to ignore. Heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, poor circulation, fatigue, chest discomfort, and countless other health problems. The good news? Your daily food choices may play a major role in supporting healthy arteries. Certain foods contain nutrients that may help reduce inflammation, support healthy cholesterol levels, improve blood vessel function, and promote cardiovascular health. No food can magically scrub arteries clean, but some foods can help create an environment where your cardiovascular system functions at its best. Today we're exploring 10 foods that heart specialists, nutrition researchers, and longevity experts frequently praise for their cardiovascular benefits. And the first one might surprise you. Food number 1. Oats. Most people think of oats as a breakfast food, simple, plain, boring. But beneath that humble appearance lies something remarkable. Oats contain a type of soluble fiber known as beta-glucan. This special fiber forms a gel-like substance inside the digestive system. Think of it as a sponge. As it moves through the body, it can help bind certain substances and support healthy cholesterol management. Researchers have spent decades studying oats. Again and again, studies suggest that regular oat consumption may contribute to healthier cholesterol levels when combined with an overall healthy diet. That's important because cholesterol plays a major role in arterial health. When cholesterol becomes imbalanced, plaque can gradually accumulate within artery walls. Over time, blood flow may become restricted. The process is slow, often silent, but potentially dangerous. Oats offer a simple and affordable way to support cardiovascular wellness. And unlike many trendy health products, they don't require a complicated plan. A bowl of oatmeal, overnight oats, added to smoothies, used in baking, small changes, big potential benefits. And this brings us to another food that scientists continue to study with great interest. Food number 2, fatty fish. For years, cardiovascular researchers have been fascinated by populations that consume large amounts of fish, particularly fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, trout. These fish contain omega-3 fatty acids, nutrients that have attracted enormous scientific attention. Why? Because omega-3s appear to support several aspects of heart health. They may help support healthy triglyceride levels, promote normal inflammatory responses, and contribute to healthy blood vessel function. Think of your arteries like flexible tubes. The healthier and more flexible they remain, the better blood can flow. Omega-3 fatty acids appear to support that flexibility, and flexibility matters. Healthy arteries expand and contract efficiently. They adapt to changing demands. They help maintain proper circulation. Many people consume far more inflammatory foods than omega-3 rich foods. As a result, dietary balance often shifts in an unhealthy direction. Adding fatty fish to meals a few times per week can help restore that balance, and your cardiovascular system may thank you for it. Why arteries matter more than most people realize. Most people don't think about their arteries until something goes wrong. That's understandable. Healthy arteries are invisible. You can't feel them working. You don't notice blood moving through them, yet every organ in your body depends on them. Your brain, your kidneys, your heart, your muscles. Everything relies on healthy circulation. When arteries function properly, life feels normal. Energy remains stable. Physical activity feels easier. Organs receive the oxygen they need. But when arterial health declines, problems can begin appearing throughout the body, which is why prevention matters so much. And prevention often starts with daily habits, including what appears on your plate. Food number 3, blueberries. Tiny, sweet, colorful, and surprisingly powerful. Blueberries contain compounds known as anthocyanins. These natural plant pigments give blueberries their deep blue color, but they're more than pigments. They're also antioxidants. Antioxidants help protect cells from oxidative stress. Imagine rust slowly forming on metal. Oxidative stress is somewhat similar. Over time, it can contribute to cellular damage throughout the body, including within blood vessels. Researchers have repeatedly linked berry consumption with positive cardiovascular outcomes. The exact mechanisms remain complex, but the evidence continues to attract attention. What's particularly impressive is how easy blueberries are to include in daily life. Breakfast, smoothies, yogurt, snacks, desserts. A small handful may provide significant nutritional value. And unlike many health trends, blueberries actually taste good, which makes consistency easier. Food number 4. Leafy green vegetables. If there were a nutritional hall of fame, leafy greens would probably be inducted immediately. Spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, collard greens. These vegetables contain vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and natural nitrates. Natural nitrates are particularly interesting. Inside the body, they can be converted into compounds that support blood vessel function. Think of blood vessels like roads. When roads remain open and efficient, traffic flows smoothly. When roads narrow, congestion develops. Natural nitrates may help support healthy blood flow by promoting proper vessel function. That's one reason athletes often consume nitrate-rich vegetables. They're interested in circulation, performance, and oxygen delivery. But you don't need to be an athlete to benefit. Healthy circulation matters to everyone, every age, every lifestyle, every stage of life, and leafy greens provide far more than nitrates alone. They're nutritional powerhouses, which explains why they appear repeatedly in studies of long-lived populations around the world. Food number 5. Walnuts. At first glance, walnuts don't look extraordinary. They're small, simple, unassuming, yet their nutritional profile is impressive. Walnuts provide healthy fats, fiber, plant compounds, minerals, and antioxidants. Researchers have investigated walnut consumption for years. Several studies suggest that regular walnut intake may support cardiovascular health when included as part of a balanced diet. One reason may be their unique fat composition. Unlike many processed snack foods, walnuts contain fats associated with positive health outcomes, and because they're satisfying, they may also help reduce reliance on less nutritious snack options. That's important, because cardiovascular health isn't determined by one food. It's determined by patterns, thousands of choices, repeated over years. Every nutritious choice shifts the pattern slightly, and those shifts add up. The compound effect of food. Most people expect dramatic results. They want immediate transformation, instant improvement, rapid change, but health rarely works that way. Imagine brushing your teeth once. Nothing dramatic happens. Brush daily for 10 years, the difference becomes enormous. Food works similarly. One healthy meal won't transform your arteries. One unhealthy meal won't destroy them. The real impact comes from repetition, consistency, patterns, years of behavior, and that's actually encouraging, because it means every healthy choice matters. Every bowl of oats, every serving of fish, every handful of berries, every salad, every walnut, the effects compound slowly, quietly, powerfully. Oats, fatty fish, blueberries, leafy green vegetables, walnuts. Each of these foods contains nutrients that may support healthy cholesterol levels, blood vessel function, circulation, and overall heart health. But we're only halfway through the list, and some of the next foods are among the most powerful heart-friendly foods ever studied. Let's continue. Food number 6, avocados. For years, many people avoided avocados. Why? Because they're high in fat, and for a long time, fat was blamed for nearly every health problem imaginable. But nutrition science has become far more sophisticated. Today, researchers recognize that not all fats are created equal. Some fats may actually support cardiovascular health. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, the same category of healthy fats found in several heart-friendly dietary patterns around the world. Think about your arteries. They aren't just passive tubes. They're living tissues, flexible, responsive, constantly adapting to the body's needs. Healthy fats appear to play an important role in supporting these systems. Avocados also provide fiber, potassium, folate, and various plant compounds. Potassium is especially important because it helps support healthy blood pressure regulation. Many people consume too much sodium and not enough potassium. That imbalance can affect cardiovascular health over time. Avocados help address that problem naturally, and unlike many so-called superfoods, they're versatile. Salads, sandwiches, smoothies, toast, bowls. Simple additions can make a meaningful difference. The problem with modern diets. One reason cardiovascular disease remains so common is that modern diets often prioritize convenience over nutrition. Highly processed foods dominate grocery store shelves. Fast food is available everywhere. Sugary drinks are heavily marketed, and many people consume more calories than ever while receiving fewer nutrients. This creates a dangerous paradox. People may be overfed yet undernourished. The body receives energy, but not necessarily the nutrients it needs for optimal function. That's where whole foods become so important. Foods like avocados don't just provide calories, they provide information, signals, nutrients that help the body perform critical functions. The quality of food matters, and nowhere is that more obvious than cardiovascular health. Food number 7, beans and lentils. If there were an award for underrated foods, beans and lentils might win. They're inexpensive, accessible, nutritious, and backed by a significant amount of research. Beans and lentils provide fiber protein, minerals, antioxidants, complex carbohydrates, but the real star may be fiber. Most people consume far less fiber than recommended, and that's a problem. Fiber supports digestive health, blood sugar management, cholesterol regulation, and overall cardiovascular wellness. Imagine fiber as a maintenance crew working inside your digestive system, helping keep things moving efficiently, supporting balance, promoting stability. Researchers consistently associate higher fiber intake with better long-term health outcomes. Yet many modern diets remain severely deficient. Adding beans and lentils is one of the simplest ways to increase fiber intake dramatically, and the benefits extend far beyond digestion. Why inflammation matters. You hear the word inflammation constantly, but what does it actually mean? Inflammation is the body's natural response to injury or threat. In the short term, it's essential. Without inflammation, healing wouldn't happen, protection wouldn't happen, survival would be difficult. The problem occurs when inflammation becomes chronic, when it lingers, when it remains elevated for years. Researchers believe chronic inflammation may contribute to numerous health problems, including issues involving the cardiovascular system. Many of the foods we're discussing today contain compounds that help support healthy inflammatory balance. That's one reason dietary patterns rich in whole foods consistently outperform highly processed diets. The body tends to function best when inflammation remains appropriately regulated, and food plays a major role in that process. Food number 8, extra virgin olive oil. If you've ever studied the Mediterranean diet, you've probably noticed something. Olive oil appears everywhere. Researchers have spent decades investigating why Mediterranean populations often experience impressive cardiovascular outcomes. Many factors contribute: physical activity, social connections, lifestyle, sleep, but diet plays a major role, and olive oil is one of its cornerstones. Extra virgin olive oil contains compounds called polyphenols. These naturally occurring plant compounds possess antioxidant properties that researchers continue to study extensively. Think of polyphenols as protective compounds, tiny defenders helping support cellular health, blood vessel function, and cardiovascular wellness. Olive oil also provides healthy monounsaturated fats, the same type of fats we discussed with avocados. What's remarkable is that some of the healthiest populations in the world consume olive oil daily, not occasionally, daily, as part of a long-term lifestyle pattern. That's an important lesson. Health isn't built through isolated events, it's built through habits, and olive oil is a habit that has stood the test of time. The biggest myth about heart health: many people believe heart disease appears suddenly. One day you're healthy, the next day you're not. Reality is often very different. Cardiovascular problems typically develop over decades, years of gradual changes, years of small decisions, years of accumulated effects. This can sound frightening, but it's actually empowering. Because if problems develop gradually, improvement can also happen gradually. Every healthy meal matters. Every walk matters. Every positive habit matters. The body is constantly adapting, responding, changing. And many of those changes begin with the choices we make today. Food number 9. Garlic. Garlic has been valued for centuries, long before modern laboratories existed, long before scientific journals. Ancient civilizations recognized that garlic seemed special. Today, researchers continue studying its unique compounds, particularly a compound known as allicin. Allicin forms when garlic is crushed or chopped. It's responsible for much of garlic's characteristic smell, and possibly some of its health-promoting properties. Studies suggest garlic may support cardiovascular health in several ways. Researchers continue investigating its potential effects on blood pressure, circulation, and blood vessel function. What's fascinating is how such a small ingredient can contain so much biological activity. Garlic isn't typically consumed as a main dish. It's a supporting actor, a flavor enhancer. Yet even small additions can contribute meaningful nutrients and beneficial compounds. And unlike many expensive supplements, garlic has been part of traditional diets for thousands of years. The longevity connection. When researchers study populations that live exceptionally long lives, certain patterns appear repeatedly. People in these communities often consume more vegetables, more legumes, more whole foods, more healthy fats, less processed food, less added sugar, less ultra-processed junk food. Notice something? The foods on today's list fit many of those patterns. That's not a coincidence. Long-term health rarely comes from a miracle food. It comes from a collection of beneficial habits working together. A healthy diet, regular movement, good sleep, stress management, social connection. Each piece supports the others, and together they create something powerful. Food number 10, dark chocolate. Yes, chocolate made the list, but before you celebrate, there's an important detail. We're talking about dark chocolate, not candy bars loaded with sugar, not heavily processed desserts. Dark chocolate contains compounds called flavonols. These naturally occurring plant compounds have attracted significant research interest. Scientists continue studying how flavonols may support blood vessel function and circulation. The higher the cocoa content, the more flavonols are generally present. This is one reason many experts recommend choosing dark chocolate with higher cocoa percentages. What's remarkable is that something enjoyable may also provide potential health benefits. And that's an important reminder. Healthy eating doesn't need to feel like punishment. Some of the most beneficial foods are genuinely enjoyable. The goal isn't deprivation. The goal is balance, consistency, and making choices that support long-term wellness. The big question. By now, we've explored 10 foods that researchers and health experts frequently associate with cardiovascular wellness. But there's an important question we haven't answered. If foods like oats, fish, berries, olive oil, beans, leafy greens, garlic, walnuts, avocados, and dark chocolate are so beneficial, why do heart disease and circulation problems remain among the most common health challenges in the world? The answer is surprisingly simple. Because healthy foods don't exist in isolation. They compete against something else, something that has quietly become a major part of modern life: ultra-processed foods. And understanding this difference may completely change the way you think about your health. The modern food trap. Imagine walking through a typical supermarket. Fresh fruits and vegetables occupy only a small portion of the store. Most shelves are filled with products packaged in boxes, bags, and containers. Many of these products are designed to be irresistible: sweet, salty, crunchy, convenient. They stimulate reward centers in the brain, they encourage overeating, and often contain ingredients rarely found in traditional diets. The problem isn't that these foods exist. The problem is how much of them people consume. For many individuals, ultra-processed foods make up the majority of daily calories, and over time, that pattern may contribute to obesity, metabolic dysfunction, inflammation, and cardiovascular problems. Healthy arteries aren't built by what you eat occasionally. They're built by what you eat consistently, and consistency is where modern diets often struggle. The hidden enemy, chronic inflammation. Earlier, we talked about inflammation. Now let's go deeper. Inflammation isn't always visible. You can't always feel it. You can't always see it. Yet it may influence nearly every major system in the body. When arteries become irritated repeatedly over many years, damage may accumulate. The body attempts repairs. Plaque begins forming. Blood vessels may become less flexible. Circulation can become compromised. The process is slow, silent, and often symptom-free until significant damage has occurred. This is why prevention matters so much. By the time symptoms appear, the process may have been developing for decades. That's also why researchers place so much emphasis on lifestyle, because lifestyle affects inflammation every single day. The foods you eat, the sleep you get, the exercise you perform, the stress you experience, everything contributes. The truth about cholesterol. Few topics create more confusion than cholesterol. Many people believe cholesterol is simply bad, but reality is more complicated. Your body actually needs cholesterol. Every cell uses it. Hormones depend on it. Vital biological functions require it. The issue isn't cholesterol itself. The issue is balance, transport, inflammation, and how cholesterol interacts with artery walls over time. This is why modern cardiovascular science focuses on overall risk rather than a single number. Blood pressure matters. Blood sugar matters. Weight matters. Activity levels matter. Smoking matters. Diet matters. Sleep matters. Stress matters. Everything is connected. And that's one reason healthy foods are so powerful. They often improve multiple risk factors simultaneously. Why exercise multiplies the benefits. Imagine planting seeds in a garden. Healthy food provides the seeds. Exercise provides the water. Without both, growth is limited. Movement plays an enormous role in cardiovascular health. When you walk, cycle, swim, or engage in physical activity, blood flow increases. The heart becomes stronger. Circulation improves. Blood vessels remain more responsive. Researchers consistently find that physically active individuals tend to experience better cardiovascular outcomes than sedentary individuals. And here's the encouraging part. You don't need extreme workouts. You don't need marathon training. You don't need complicated routines. Even regular walking can make a meaningful difference. Simple habits often produce extraordinary long-term results. The power of small changes. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to change everything at once. A perfect diet, a perfect exercise plan, a perfect lifestyle. That approach rarely lasts. Instead, focus on one change, then another, then another. Replace a sugary snack with berries. Choose oatmeal instead of a highly processed breakfast. Add vegetables to one meal. Take a daily walk. Drink more water. Small actions seem insignificant in the moment, but they compound. Imagine improving by just 1% each day. The change appears tiny, almost invisible, but over months and years the results become remarkable. Health is rarely transformed by a single decision. It's transformed by thousands of small decisions repeated consistently. What the longest living people teach us. Researchers have spent years studying populations with exceptional longevity, people who routinely live into their 90s and beyond. What do they have in common? They don't rely on miracle supplements. They don't chase every health trend. They don't search for shortcuts. Instead, they follow simple habits consistently. They eat more whole foods, more vegetables, more legumes, more healthy fats. They move regularly. They stay socially connected. They manage stress. They sleep well. The lesson is powerful. Extraordinary health often comes from ordinary habits, performed consistently, year after year, decade after decade. The biggest heart health myth. Perhaps the biggest myth of all is the belief that heart disease is inevitable, that aging automatically means declining cardiovascular health, that nothing can be done. Science says otherwise. While genetics matter, lifestyle matters too. In many cases, daily choices influence health far more than people realize. Every healthy meal sends a signal. Every walk sends a signal. Every good night's sleep sends a signal. The body is always responding, always adapting, always changing, and those changes can work for you or against you. The choice is often determined by habits. Imagine your arteries. 10 years from now, take a moment and imagine two futures. In the first future, nothing changes. The same eating habits, the same inactivity, the same processed foods, the same neglect, year after year. Now imagine a second future. More whole foods, more movement, more awareness, more consistency. Not perfection, just improvement. Which future do you think your arteries would prefer? The answer is obvious, and that's what makes this so powerful. You don't need to wait for a crisis. You don't need to wait for symptoms. You don't need to wait for a warning. You can start supporting your cardiovascular health today. The most important lesson. Throughout this documentary, we've discussed foods that may support healthy arteries. But the real lesson goes deeper than food. Health isn't built through dramatic actions. It's built through daily decisions. The meal you choose, the walk you take, the sleep you prioritize, the habits you repeat. Those decisions seem small until years pass. Then they become everything because the body remembers. It remembers what you feed it. It remembers how you treat it. It remembers the choices you make. And over time, those choices shape your future. Final message. Your heart will beat more than 2 billion times during your lifetime. Think about that. More than 2 billion beats. Without rest, without vacation, without stopping. Every single day, your cardiovascular system works tirelessly to keep you alive. The least we can do is support it. The foods we've discussed today won't perform miracles overnight. No food can. But together, they may help create an environment where your body can thrive. An environment that supports circulation, supports blood vessel function, supports long-term cardiovascular health, and perhaps most importantly, supports a longer, healthier life. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. One meal, one walk, one healthy choice at a time. Because the habits you build today may determine the health you enjoy tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And remember, the most powerful medicine is often found not in a bottle, but on your plate.